situation?
First of all, Gordon, you know me, and the people watching this show know me and know that I am not the kind of man that goes around sticking my nose in somebody else's business. Now, I came out here last week as a commentator with you to commentate a match, and I ended up in the ring. Well, you can't stand by sometimes and watch something happen that you've seen happen time after time after time. Now, Stan Frazier and Robert Fuller have been lied to. I was lied to today on this TV program. The people watching this program have been lied to, and we are all sick of it. Last week, Stan Frazier and Robert Fuller were promised a heads-up match for the tag team titles, and Michael Hayes stuck his nose in the ring again. Today, he came out here yelling and screaming about everybody calling him Michelle and calling him a woman, and he wanted to prove to everybody that he was a man by challenging me. And who did I end up wrestling, Michael Hayes? I ended up in the ring with Terry Gordy. Now, Stan Frazier is back there with an injury that we don't know right now, Gordon. We don't know the extent of those injuries, but the man is hurt. Now, we're facing a situation, Robert and I, we have got a 6-man elimination tag team match coming up, and right now we are -1 partner. We don't know what's going to happen, but I'll guarantee you Freebirds one thing. Something will happen. Something violent will happen. I'll tell you something. You do not climb in a snake pit with a bunch of snakes and try to fight them heads up. You get down on your belly and you crawl with them just like they are. And Robert Fuller can do it, and I can do it, and we're going to do it.
Brilliant. But I needed a workout this afternoon, and I think I got it. Gordon, I'd like to say one thing. I'm going to direct this to a former friend of mine, Tony Atlas. Tony, even your people know I have more soul than you. You're shucking and jiving, Tony. So let me tell you, Tony, I can fish better than you, I can fight better than you, and I can eat and play basketball better than you, Tony Atlas. I can do anything better than you, because you know you taught me a lot of things, and I never let on to you, Tony Atlas, anything, because sometimes I think you have an IQ of a rutabaga. So, Tony Atlas, you know, you can show all your muscles, but I don't think you're any bigger than mine. I don't think you're any stronger than me. And I know one thing, Tony Atlas, your people know you got no soul, because the soul comes from the heart and you don't have it.
Well, I'll tell you what, before we go any farther, Mr. Sullivan, I think you would be very interested in hearing some comments previously recorded by Tony Atlas. So
good.
Let's give a listen to these comments from Mr. USA.
Well, when it comes to Kevin Sullivan, Tony Atlas certainly, I'm sure, has some well-chosen words.
Well, you know, me and Kevin Sullivan, we were Georgia tag team champions and everything in the past. And Kevin Sullivan was the kind of man that I kind of trusted a great deal. You know, Kevin Sullivan, the whole time that me and Kevin was together, Kevin always used to ask me things when we went to the matches. He said, Tony, how you lift a man over your head like that? So I said, Kevin, I do it this way. I said, I always do like this and that and that and that and that and that. And Kevin said, that's good. And sometimes he asked me, he said, Tony, how come every time a man lock hands with you, it's because your hand is stronger than his, the reason you always take him down to his knees? And I said, no, Kevin. I said, because there's a technique to it, just like arm wrestling, weightlifting, and everything else. And Kevin said, And he was taking all this in. So the next thing I know, I done told Kevin Sullivan 3/4 for all the knowledge that I have learned in my whole 25 years of living. And Kevin Sullivan never expressed anything to me about his ability. So when I go into the ring against Kevin Sullivan, there is very little that I know about Kevin Sullivan. There's a great deal that he know about me. But in the harmony, Kevin Sullivan, there's one thing that I know about you. I know you can't be trusted. I know you're a low-down, good-for-nothing, dirty dog. And Kevin Sullivan, I know one thing else too, brother. Now, I might not know everything about you, but I know that I will whip you as long as I can keep up with you and get paid for it. So, Kevin Sullivan, bring yourself on to the harmony, brother. If you think that I don't know nothing about you, I know one thing, Kevin Sullivan, I could fight you all night long.
Tony Atlas, let me tell you something. Christmas Day, in the immortal words of the Southside Band, there's 4 things you don't do in this world. The first is you don't tug on Superman's cape. The second thing is you don't spit in the wind. The third thing is you don't pull a mask off the Lone Ranger. And the fourth thing is you don't mess around with a battle. I'm going to get you.
Right, Gordon, I've been coming to the state of Georgia because Georgia Championship Wrestling has become very interesting and very powerful in the wrestling world. And I've traveled all over the world, and I've come here because there's a lot of money to be given. There's a lot of prime prize. And like everybody else, I like money, and I like to be on top. I like to be #1. That's why I'm here.
Well, I'll tell you something. In a moment, we're going to see something that they talk about various programs and talk about things being incredible. What we're going to see in just a moment that this man does is, in my opinion, absolutely incredible. He actually pulls a bus by himself, and we're not talking about a little bus.
No, it's a city bus, and it weighs 22,000 pounds. And
It's about 10 tons.
if you can roll that film now, you can see by yourself.
All right, I'll tell you what. Let's take a look at this absolutely amazing feat of strength by Jos LeDuc. All right, of course, there's a lot of conversation going on here and a lot of people watching Joe, and exactly what are you intending to do here?
Well, I'm going to pull the bus this afternoon in Minneapolis, Minnesota, in the wintertime. It's at the city bus station in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And if you wait a couple seconds, you'll find out.
All right, attached now to the front bumper of the bus, and they're checking to make sure. Obviously, a slip or a fall here could be extremely dangerous.
That's right. You can't fall in front of the bus that's moving. They're very heavy.
22,000-pound Minneapolis-St. Paul municipal bus, and you're putting those chains around yourself now, and obviously putting some padding there to make sure it doesn't cut right through the flesh, which it would have to do with the tremendous pressure exerted.
That's right. It's a chain. You don't have a strap to cover your back. It's a chain, so that's why you got to put some protection on your back so the chain doesn't injure your vertebrae or your spine.
Obviously, last-minute preparations here, girding yourself. Imagine, too, that emotionally, don't you have to really get yourself psyched up to attempt this?
You have to have a lot of concentration. Like you see, this bus is very heavy. And I'm going to concentrate myself right now, and the bus is going to move. There's only one way, and I could get out of that. If the bus don't move, I'm going to die there.
Tremendous effort here, and now the bus actually beginning to move.
That's right, it's moving. I would have died there before.
And here's where you almost got into real trouble again. You did slip on the ice and fall down, but you're back to your feet. You had pulled that bus, I guess, a good 8 or 10 feet by then.
Well, you got to take the consequences. You can't take the heat to get out of the kitchen, right?
Well, that certainly is quite a comment indeed. That was, of course, Larry the Axe Hennig, I believe, with you at that time.
He was my partner at the time, and we had a real good over 1 year in all the northern state.
Let me ask you, of course, now that you are back here in the state of Georgia, and of course, Thursday you'll be making your first appearance here wrestling at the Omni itself.
Like I said before, Mr. Sully, I'm here because there's a lot of prize be given in by Georgia Championship Wrestling, and I like money, and I'm here for the prize. I understand there's a 2-ring battle royal on Christmas Day night, and it's the biggest prize ever given before.
There's $30,000 going to the winners of that battle royal. That's something you're looking forward to, then.
That's right. I think you know what is the rule in the double ring battle royal. Everybody start in one ring and throw as many people as they can in the second ring, and the 2 left in the first ring will face the 2 left in the second ring.
Exactly. You're hoping to be one of those 4, then?
Well, I guarantee you, Mr. Soley, I'm here because I'm the king of the battle royal, and for $30,000, I can get along with anybody.
Stan Frazier.
Well, he's got some collarbone problems, possibly even a strain in his neck. It jammed